Who am I and why are you watching this video? Well, my name is Bryce Lapham, and I am nobody special. Let's put it that way, okay? I am a normal dude. I have a beautiful, beautiful wife that I've been married to for the last 5 years. We've been together since we were about 18 years old, so we've been together for 10 years. We have 4 beautiful baby boys ranging from 8 years old all the way down to a newborn, and in the middle, we've got a set of twins. We got a buy one, get one free with no return receipt special. If any of you have twins, I'm sure you can relate to that joke. However, I'm nobody special, you guys. I'm a regular person, and up until March 15th of 2024, I worked in a corporate-style job, and I hated every minute of it. Don't get me wrong, I used to love my job, and that job was in the automotive industry. I was a car salesman. I started when I was 18, and I actually didn't start out as a car salesman. I started out as a detailer and a lot porter, and if any of you know the car business, you know that's bottom of the barrel. And I stayed there for a little while, but then I saw how much money salespeople made, and I became obsessed. So I wanted to jump into sales. Well, long story short, I got fired from my first job at a Chevy dealership for doing things that I wasn't supposed to do, like doing donuts in the shop with a golf cart with tire shine all over the floor. And then I took a set of subwoofers out of the back of a vehicle, a trade-in vehicle, that I was told by a salesperson I could take, which in turn was not at all the truth. I just got set up, and me being young, naive, and dumb, and 18 years old, I listened to him anyway. And my general manager did not like that very much, so he went ahead and fired me. Fast forward a couple of months, I found myself selling cars at a Kia dealership. Now, I was absolutely terrible. I was the worst salesperson that dealership had, okay? I got yelled at, I got MF'd every single time I messed up. I was forced to go sit in a corner and memorize scripts from what we call a meet and greet to closing to the $90 close, to all types of stuff, okay? I was forced to go memorize these things verbatim because I was told it would make me better. Did it? I don't know. At the time, I don't know. But I memorized them, and I knew everything word for word. Now, as that manager may have been a complete, jerk off, I think it really did help build some character in me, and it gave me a good start. Shortly after that, I went to a sales class that they signed us up for, and when I came back from that, oh boy, did I blossom. I became one of the better salespeople that store had, and ended up doing anywhere from 15 to 20 units per month. And at the time, I was one of the only people to hit 20 units in a month at that store. Now, bear in mind, if you know the car business, you know that might not seem like a lot of cars to be sold in a month. But I didn't live in a metropolitan area. We live in a town that has 100,000 or less people, including our military base. So we don't see the volume that areas like Dallas does, or areas like Miami or Los Angeles or things like that. So for me, that was a massive accomplishment. Fast forward a couple of years, I became stagnant and was looking for growth. So I moved on to a Chrysler store within the same corporation that I was in. And I immediately got opportunity. I sold 63 cars within 3 months, and I got moved up to internet manager. They made a position for me because they saw that I was eager for growth. And by the time I was 22 years old, I became a finance manager at that store. And I was the youngest finance manager to be made in our dealer group, which again was another accomplishment all on its own that I was very, very proud of. Now, I do think I may have been just a tad bit too young and accepted a little bit too much responsibility at the time. Right around that time, my twins were born. So we went from having 1 child to now having 3 children. Again, we got the buy one, get one free with no return. I tried giving one back, but it wouldn't accept. Anyways, that's besides the point. So I did that for a little while, and then I quit. And I went on to building wind turbines because I was hungry for money. I had 2 new children, 2 new mouths to feed, and a whole lot of stuff going on, and I wasn't sure that the car business was going to be it for me. And again, sales. I fell in love with it. I became really, really good at it. But I left, and I went and built some wind turbines for a couple of years. For about a year and a half. Had some fun there. It was really, really cool being able to sit 400 feet up above everyone else. And boy, let me tell you, when you take a leak off of the top of one of those towers, it's an invigorating feeling. I'll just be honest with you. But it was pretty cool. I loved it. It was an experience, but it wasn't for me. Fast forward about a year and a half, we moved back to Oklahoma. And if you know anything about Oklahoma, well, the green rush hit, and I wanted in. I grew up in California, where I saw it happen as a kid, and, I always wanted to own my own dispensary. So the green rush hit, and I decided to go in with a couple of buddies of mine, and we went in and got a dispensary. Probably one of the worst businesses to get into. It's as it can be lucrative, it is very challenging in terms of legalities and taxes and money and things like that. So We had that for about a year and a half and ended up selling it and getting rid of it and just kind of washing our hands clean. I went back into the car business. I told my boss that I didn't want to jump into management. I just wanted to sell cars because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And bear in mind, you guys, this is all within 6-7 years of time frame here, okay? I'm just kind of giving you a background as to who I am and kind of my story from all of this. And I jumped back into the car business, started selling cars again, started making decent money. It was the end of the COVID era. And the COVID era made car salesmen a lot of money because you had what was called markup or market adjustment, where we were selling cars $10,000 over sticker. It was a really, really, really weird time to buy a vehicle and to be a salesperson as well, because you weren't selling many cars, but you were making so much money, it was ridiculous. One month I sold 4 cars and made over $12,000. It didn't make any sense, but I was all for it. And it started to weigh on me a little heavy because I'm just not a fan of doing that to people in terms of ripping them off in that sense, because it was really just a way for these corporations to gain a lot more money from people, and it was quite sad, to be honest. So we got out of that era, and I was still selling cars, and we had some issues where one of our finance manager was going to be leaving to another place, and I was the only person in the dealership with the experience. So I went ahead and stepped up after my boss asked me if I wanted to, and I took the finance position again. Then I decided that I wanted to get into streaming because I love video games. I'm a massive nerd when it comes to video games. I love Call of Duty, Apex, CS2. I started playing Valorant. I just love first-person shooter games. So I got into all of that. Then I wanted to start creating content, and I started building PCs. So over about an 8-month period, I started building PCs and creating content around PC-style content, and I somehow was able to amass a following on Instagram of 30,000 followers and a following on TikTok of about 12,000 followers. And that's when I discovered the TikTok Shop affiliate program with some of these products like the Gutsy Aiden mouse pads, some power banks, and a few other things. And that's when I first got a taste of the opportunity that lay at hand. I didn't know how to capitalize off of it, and I didn't know if that was something I wanted to do. However, I did know I wanted to make content, and I wanted to make PC related content because I have ADHD really, really bad. So when I find something that I enjoy, I hyper fixate on it, and building PCs was one of those. So I dove right into it. I learned how to make content. I bought myself a camera, which is what you're seeing me off of here, which is a Sony ZV-E10, which is a intermediate, really more of a beginner style camera, but records in native 4K. So I knew I had to get the right tools to make good quality content and learn how to edit. I taught myself how to edit, started making pretty solid videos. You can reference that on my TikTok account, which all of my old PC videos are still there. I've since switched my content into more of an influencer style because I'm trying to help change people's lives in this aspect. Getting off track. So I started making content. Then I discovered the opportunity of the TikTok Shop affiliate program. And boy, let me tell you, that has changed my life in ways that I cannot explain. And that is basically what this YouTube channel is going to be catering to. But now that you kind of get a quick backstory as to who I am, where I came from, and kind of my experiences, I just want to let you know that I am far from any sort of guru. I am far from any sort of expert in making money online. But what I am is an expert in sales. What I am is an expert in dealing with people. What I am is somebody who is very confident in their skills in being able to grow in an area of unfamiliarity in order to help teach other people how to do the same thing. That is who I am, and that is what I want to be. It's always been a dream of mine to influence people. It's always been a dream of mine to help others achieve the goals that they want to achieve that align with mine. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be able to have our time and our freedom without having to respond to somebody else. And working a corporate job is just not the way anymore, especially in 2024. And if you have a family, it's time to break away from that 9-to-5 lifestyle. It's time to break away from that corporate lifestyle. And it's time to start taking control of your life and making it something that you want to turn it into by design. And this opportunity right here can do that for you. So it was a pleasure getting to speak with you guys and kind of explain to you who I am. And there's a lot more to me than just that. But that is kind of the basic gist of who I am, where I've come from, and what I've done over the last 10 years. So if you want to join me on this journey, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, ring those bells, and every week I will be posting quality content full of value, and we are going to be going on a road to $1 million using the TikTok Shop affiliate program. So stay tuned because there is a lot more to come. See y'all in the next video.